It's December, so let's talk about Christmas traditions in Britain. Most British people celebrate Christmas, though not all in the same way. I'm going to talk about some of the more common traditions and tell you what to expect if you're in Britain at Christmas time. The most obvious Christmas tradition is the Christmas tree. If you walk around a British town in December, you will see these everywhere. Most towns have a Christmas tree in the town centre. You'll also see them in shops, in gardens. Some people will decorate a tree in their garden, and others will put a tree in their window so that you can see it from the street. You'll also see coloured lights everywhere. There are lights on the trees, lights around windows, and sometimes strings of lights along the top edge of the house between the wall and the roof. We might call these Christmas lights or fairy lights. When someone says fairy lights, they usually mean a string of lights with very tiny light bulbs. So if you see a long line of very small lights, they are fairy lights. Other popular decorations are baubles and tinsel. You can find these on lots of Christmas trees. If you're in a big city, as well as Christmas decorations, you might find a Christmas market. This is a tradition from Germany, but it's become really popular in the UK. And some of the markets are called German Christmas markets. At the German Christmas market, you can find Glühwein and German food, as well as Christmas presents. Birmingham and Manchester have really big Christmas markets with a German theme. If you work in Britain, you can expect some kind of Christmas celebration from your company. Most businesses have a Christmas do of some sort. When we say Christmas do, that just means a party, and it really could be anything. I've worked for companies where the employees get together and go to the pub, and that's it. And I've also worked for companies where the Christmas party is a huge event. There's a meal, a disco, drinking, dancing. It's an all-night party. I currently work at a gym as well as being an English teacher, and we have a really big Christmas party with everyone who goes to the gym as well as the staff. So most companies will do this just for their staff, but you may also find a party with staff and customers if it's the kind of business where you get to know your customers really well. My work's Christmas do will be a party with a meal, a disco, drinking and dancing. It's a big event, and the owners of the company have hired a function room in a hotel. A function room is a large room where you can have a party. You might find a function room in a hotel, in a pub, in any kind of place where you can have parties, and you can hire those rooms so that it's only you and your friends at the party. The traditional Christmas dinner is usually turkey, although some people may have other types of meat. It's served with roast potatoes, vegetables, gravy, and often cranberry sauce, which is a bit like jam but not quite as sweet. It's made with cranberries, of course, and sugar, but not as much sugar as you would put in jam. So it's a fruity sauce that's traditionally eaten with Christmas dinner, and bread sauce is made with milk and breadcrumbs. I've never actually made bread sauce from scratch, so I don't know all the ingredients. You can buy packets that you mix with milk and just heat it up. So that's the lazy way to make bread sauce. That's what I normally do. Lots and lots of families will eat a traditional Christmas dinner on Christmas Day. You can also buy Christmas dinner in most pubs and restaurants throughout December. Some workplaces will have a Christmas dinner day where in the middle of the workday everyone stops to have lunch, and the lunch is Christmas dinner instead of whatever they normally eat. It's the same in schools. A lot of schools have a Christmas dinner day where they have the traditional Christmas dinner instead of normal school lunches. Something else that's common in schools and workplaces is a Christmas jumper day. Here's my Christmas jumper. This has become more popular recently. It wasn't a thing when I was at school, but that was 30 years ago. And all of my children have had Christmas jumper days in school. So maybe for the last 10 years or so, Christmas jumper day has been a popular thing. And some workplaces do it too. Of course, not every workplace can do that. In some places you have to wear a uniform. But in other places where it's more casual, you might wear your Christmas jumper. On Christmas Day itself, most people will visit family or very close friends. It's not the kind of day where you just pop round to see your acquaintances, because it's likely that they'll all be spending time with the people they're closest to. There are places to go for people who live alone or perhaps don't have any relatives. There's a pub near me where the landlord and the landlady put on a Christmas dinner for elderly people who live alone. So that's a nice community event where people can go and have a nice Christmas Day dinner and have someone to talk to instead of being alone all day. Most businesses are closed, apart from the pubs. You will find a lot of pubs will be open just for a few hours around lunchtime. The pubs that serve food will serve Christmas dinner, of course, and the pubs that don't serve food will still open just for a couple of hours so that people who are feeling lonely can go in and have someone to chat to. I'm sure you know that lots of people buy gifts or presents at Christmas, usually just for the people closest to you, family members, and perhaps one or two very close friends. I don't know many people who buy gifts for all of their friends because it gets really expensive. One way that people try to reduce the cost of buying Christmas presents is to do something called Secret Santa. You've probably heard of Santa. Secret Santa is where a group of people get together. Everyone puts their name on a piece of paper, puts it in a bag. You pull out one name and you buy a present for that one person. But you don't tell them who got the present. So it's a way for a group of people to buy presents for each other, and usually there's a spending limit. So you might say we'll all buy gifts for each other for less than £10 or less than £15. So everyone has a little treat to open, but it's not too expensive to get gifts for your friends. What about religious celebrations? Because Christmas is a Christian festival. Well, lots of British people don't really see it as religious. There are many people who celebrate Christmas, but if you ask them about their religion, they'll say, I don't really have a religion. So many Christmas traditions are seen as more tradition than religion. And even when people go to something like a carol service, they don't necessarily see it as a religious event. A carol service is where people sing Christmas carols. A Christmas carol is a Christmas song, but it's a religious Christmas song. Christmas carols are specifically about the birth of Jesus or the journey to Bethlehem or other parts of the Christian Christmas story. And carol services are held in churches, schools, Sometimes in town centres. I've even seen it where there was a brass band playing Christmas carols in the street and people gathered around to sing. And that was really nice. It was a very Christmassy atmosphere to hear the music as I was walking around the shops. Christian churches always have a Christmas Day service. For people who celebrate Christmas as a religious festival, it's really important to them to go to church and celebrate with other Christians on Christmas Day. Lots of churches have a late night service on Christmas Eve, so you might go to church at 11:30 p.m. and at midnight you celebrate the start of Christmas Day. Everyone is welcome at these services, so if you're staying in Britain for Christmas, if you want to see what it's like to celebrate Christmas in a Christian church, everyone will be really welcoming to you. You're not going to be turned away because you're not a regular churchgoer. Everyone will say welcome and happy Christmas. As well as these nationwide traditions, lots of families make their own Christmas traditions. For example, one of my family's Christmas traditions is that we have homemade cinnamon rolls for breakfast on Christmas Day. Cinnamon rolls take a long time to make and I only make them for special occasions. So that's one of our little Christmas traditions. Tell me about your Christmas traditions in the comments and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!